much for taking the time to talk to us today. I'm excited to learn about your Hawkins Agency with Farmers Insurance right here in Collierville, Tennessee. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell me what drew you to Farmers Insurance. What was it that made you want to go with Farmers?
Yeah, number one would be the culture. The more that we met with Farmers people and employees and family and the other agents, you know, it just really clicked.
Yeah.
You know, it felt
That's
right.
important.
Yeah, the culture was huge. You know, with Farmers, we are brokers. We can write multiple lines of business, which is huge. I mean, Farmers is our flagship product, of course.
Yeah.
But we have other companies that we can write, so we can really help anybody.
That's great.
And the fact that we own our agency. Yeah, we own the business. I mean, we could sell it if we want to. We could even give it to one of our children one day. So,
oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's wonderful. Is that kind of what you guys are wanting? Are you wanting to make this like a family business?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 5 children and we live, work, and play in Collierville. They go to Collierville schools and you would see them in and out of the office.
Oh, that's
especially
great.
this summer.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that they're interacting with you guys at the office. Well, I bet you've seen a wide range of different scenarios for your customers. Let's talk about maybe one of the worst case scenarios that a customer might face. Have you encountered anything like that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, worst case scenarios that come to mind would just be under coverage. So either on the house or the auto.
Right.
So basically, if your dwelling coverage is too low on your house, that's a major exposure.
Sure.
Same thing on the auto. If your liability limits on your autos are set too low, you might be saving $1 or $2, but you know,
And that
taking huge
changes
risks.
quick, I bet, in these crazy times that we're living in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, construction costs, material costs, labor costs, everything's extremely high right now.
Right.
So inflation's pretty wild. You know, it's perfect time to really do a review and check your dwelling coverages. And then same thing on the auto too, because a lot of people just don't understand liabilities and they don't understand the appropriate way to cover themselves, you know.
I'm so glad you're touching on this because this is something, you know, for me personally, when I think of insurance, I'm thinking of fine print, jargon, a lot of things that are going way over my head, okay? And I know I'm not alone. So let's talk about liability. That's a big, broad statement, something we probably recognize but don't fully understand. So let's talk about liability limits and that type coverage.
Yeah. You know, your liabilities, to make it really simple, is what you're financially responsible for, you know, in an accident. So, so in an auto accident, if you were to hurt somebody, heaven forbid, you know, they can sue you. So you want to make sure your limits are set high enough to protect yourself from those exposures. Same thing on the house. You know, we all know what dwelling coverage is, but the other important piece of the homeowner's policy is the liability coverage. So a neighborhood kid gets hurt on your property, you know, and then there's a lawsuit. You want to make sure your liability coverage is high enough.
We'll cover that.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
That's right. I appreciate you going line by line here because this is something that, you know, you just don't think about very often, right?
And you definitely do need a review every year.
Yeah.
I had that done as well this year and found that I was actually undercovered for my dwelling. So if something were to happen to my home, I wouldn't have enough cost to rebuild.
That's right. Oh, and like we said, the crazy times, you want to be able to be covered, right? And so I appreciate you educating us a little bit on those liability limits and making sure that we are covered. It's so important right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about what happens if we're not covered. Well, if we find ourselves in a very unfortunate situation where we really weren't prepared, we're not covered.
It's going to fall on you. Simple as that.
Let's go back to that auto accident because I think that was a good scenario. If you're only covered like, you know, up to $50,000 or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, common scenario would be somebody in an auto accident and then there's a lawsuit, and that lawsuit, you know, far exceeds those liability limits. Okay. That's not a position you want to be in. So if you have something like an umbrella product. Okay.
Here's another term I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
Teach us about the umbrella.
Yeah, so you could come in, we could write you an umbrella, and those are sold in $1 million increments. Sounds like a lot of money, but you know, some of these lawsuits are extremely expensive, you know, $500,000, $600,000. So instead of that falling on you, the umbrella will kick in and it acts as an excess. It'll cover, it'll cover where the liability limits leave off, the umbrella kicks in.
And we'll handle the rest of that to cover you.
Correct.
Wow.
Underlines home and auto.
Okay, that sounds like something that's worth looking into. You know, immediately you think, okay, is that going to bump up my monthly payment? But sometimes it's worth that, looking into and asking those questions.
Well, if you don't have an umbrella, you know, that money is going to come out of your assets. It's going to come out of your net worth.
Yeah.
So it could be a major, major setback for most people.
Let's talk about that, because there's different seasons of life and the coverage you need is a little different when you're younger versus when you're older and a little more established. So if a younger person is calling you today, you know, Blair and Megan, and they say, you know, all I care about is getting the best rate right now, what would you say to them?
I would say, you know, if there's a budget you got to work in, that's fine. You know, let's talk about the budget, but let's also have a conversation about the risks, the potential risks that you're willing to take. Right. I just want to make sure you are educated and you understand what you're buying.
It's so important to be crystal clear on that, right? And know up front.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also, I don't think a lot of younger people think about life insurance at that age, and I do think that's very important to start when you're younger than versus when you're older.
That's so true, absolutely. And vice versa, let's talk about that more established family, you know, that has multi-lines of coverage. You know, what would you say with them? Are you able to help that person out too?
Oh yeah, and then that's kind of our I guess our flagship customer, our target customer. You know, we're looking for the big family, the small business, the family-owned businesses. They're fun to work with.
You guys have a big family too, right?
Yeah, we have a big family.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. So it's fun to work with people like us as well. You know, if you have a couple of businesses, a couple of rental properties, lots of cars, you know, kids at college, all these different potential exposures and whatnot, you know, we can basically kind of stitch together a custom bundle for you.
Oh, I appreciate hearing that custom word, because really and truly, one family is not going to be identical to the next, right? Yeah, and so we need to be thinking about that personalized touch, and it sounds like you care about that too.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Farmers is, you know, we can write multiple companies. So, you know, maybe we cover your business with this company and cover the house with this company, but we can still stitch it all together and bundle so you're saving, you know, getting the maximum amount of savings.
That's awesome. It's important, right?
Well, who doesn't like to save money?
That's right. We got to save some money. That's true. Guys, as we kind of wrap things up, I want to talk about the long-term vision for Hawkins Agency here in Collierville. Where are you guys seeing this 5-10 years down the road?
Yeah, we absolutely would like to be that mom and pop store where you come, and then hopefully we can, you know, have agents where Blair can train them to become agents as well and own their own farmers.
Oh,
yeah, we love to recruit and develop other agents. You know, it's basically a mom and pop and just bringing young folks in and teaching them the business and helping them, you know, get set up so they can have their own agency
as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing that, guys. And I can tell you guys, you're invested in this, your heart's in the right place, and you're wanting to help the rest of us in the Mid-South too with our insurance needs. So I appreciate so much hearing your story. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I do want to say though, some people might be listening saying, where do I get in touch with you guys? Tell me, where's the best place for them to go?
Oh, Facebook, website. And
email probably too.
Email.
Call and text.
Or come by.
Yeah.
Come by the office.
That's
absolutely.
great.
Just call or text us. I mean,
awesome.
We answer our phone.
Awesome.
Unless we're in church. That's the only time.
There you go.
Yeah. But other than that, we're very responsive. Set an appointment, sit down, and
review.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Main Feed. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media channels. And until next time, I'm Annabelle.